Spartans! What is your profession?
Dusty trolls come out of the woodworks, whispering their nonsense at the moon, laughing at the silly little quirks. I know they'll be gone soon. Long live the trolls in the shadows, dancing in their mischief parade. Weave your webs and cast your halos. In my world, you're all just delayed.
They say dumb things and I accommodate, flipping words like cards in a game, serving them a plate they can't forsake, knowing none will ever be the same.
I have fun with their foolish schemes, turning noise to gold with a twist. In between their broken dreams, finding gems they never missed. Long live the trolls in the shadows, dancing in their mischief parade. Weave your webs and cast your halos. In my world, you're just late.
They crave attention, yes they do, scratching at the walls they seek.
Desperate.
I feed their hunger, just a few, then watch them scurry weak.
Bye-bye. Long live the trolls in the shadows, dancing in their mischief parade. Weave your webs and cast your halos. In my world, you're all just delayed. Super delayed. They crave attention, yes they do, scratching at the walls they seek. I feed their hunger, just a few, then watch them scurry weak. Bye-bye. Long live the trolls in the shadows, dancing in their mischief parade. Weave your webs and cast your halos. In my world, you're all just delayed.
Welcome. Give me just once. These softwares sometimes they have a mind of their. All right, we should be good. We should had to turn on the echo cancellation because we do not need all of that background noise messing us up. How is everyone doing today? I am back. Let's go ahead and put up our 2-hour timer for tonight. I'm Techo Draft. We are, above all else, we are engineered to win. Last week, before I got sick, we were looking into RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, right? We looked into that. We went through how it works, details about it. We didn't really get into programming anything, if I can remember correctly. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into that today to see, all right, how can we start setting up our own RAG? How can we use it? How can we integrate with it? I was watching a video the other day on a software engineer on Free Code Camp. They were showing, he was showing how to build out your own RAG system. And I'm like, you know what? I do want to try this, but I'm going to have to figure out how we're going to do it. Really cool stuff, and really, really important how you can use AI to read through your data and provide you updated information and in a way that is easy to understand. A lot of cool stuff. Yesterday, in the morning show, we had we used Perplexity and OpenAI to get some recent cybersecurity news and then explain it to us in a very easy to understand way. It was absolutely amazing. I have to clip that up. I have to clip that part up because it was so fun to do all of that good stuff. So tonight, like I said, we're going to be getting into the RAG. We're going to be getting into how can we start to implement it, all that good stuff. I have some stuff to show you. I have some great topics to talk about. But before we get into any of that, we're going to jump into our agenda for tonight. So this is Ethical Hacking Night, and we're going to theme our RAG learnings around ethical hacking. We've done in the past so far reconnaissance, we've done scanning, we built a port scanner. We have started looking into vulnerability analysis, and you're gonna see if we can use a RAG for that as well. So last week we spoke about how the RAG can be applied to cybersecurity. We're going to take it a little bit deeper. I showed you my strategy to learn it. We're going to keep going with that strategy using ChatGPT, and we're going to see what we can build. All right. But let's take care of some housekeeping first, right? First and foremost, I just want to say a big, big, big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel, those who have been with me for a very, very long time, and those who are brand new to the channel. I appreciate every last one of you.
I appreciate you.
And a big shout out to all of the Patreon members, the TechOTrough Patreon members, those that I work with one-on-one, that I'm coaching, my Tech Barbarians, my Tech Prodigy, and the Technical Explorers as well. Those who are in the Discord and we're having conversations, we're learning, we're getting all of the learnings out there so we can better ourselves. Thank you so much for allowing me to add value into every last one of you. And I can never, ever forget, shout out to the Tech Mercenaries. Those are the YouTube channel members who those are the YouTube channel members who allow me to come here every single day and, add value to the world. So shout out to all of you as well. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right. Tomorrow, so upcoming shows. Tomorrow we're going to have the Bug Bite, where we're going to be discussing how this major company, after a major outage, how they are tone deaf to the rest of the world. It happens. And then Sunday, we're going to be going live with our DevOps as usual. We're going to be working through probably Kubernetes. A lot of things I want to work on. I'm just trying to find the time to put them through, but that's going to be the plan for this coming Sunday. All right. But that is everything that we have upcoming. We do have on Sunday night, I do plan to go live on the Jiu-Jitsu channel, Half Guard Healthy, with some of my friends. So if you are not subscribed to that channel, check out at Half Guard Healthy and tune in if you want to hear about some Jiu-Jitsu talk with me and my training partners. All right. So with that being said, that is everything to get us started. Here's what we're going to do. I am going to show you how I set up a simple workflow using, I'm going to show you how I set up a simple workflow using N8N. I do not post on X as much as I should, but I kind of fixed that. All right. And I want to show you my basic little setup and how I'm able to keep it running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, unless the computer goes down and then I have to get it back up, right? But I'm just going to share with you my little strategy. Let's get to it. Let's get to the show. Why don't we? All right. So let's start off with this little icebreaker right here. My simple N8N nodemation setup. All right. So here's how we do it. Here is how we do it. So we're going to go like this. We're going to go to this screen over here. So this is my X feed, right? This is a post. So today, I'm going to show you how this goes, right? So this is me live right now, weirdly enough, watching myself watch. Okay, Let's scroll right past that. Let's just scroll right past that one. All right. So look, today I posted, so 9 hours ago. Let's go a little bit more. So 18 hours ago, yesterday when I was figuring out how to get this thing up, we have this one, right? Every time we talk about AI and cybersecurity, I can't help but roll my eyes, yada yada. And then another one 9 hours ago, and then 7 hours ago, and then 4 hours ago, and then 1 hour ago, right? I use Nodemation N8N to help me be more active on X, and hopefully from being more active, we can grow our X following substantially. Will it happen? I don't know, but I am, although that would be nice, I am more intrigued at the opportunity to learn how to use all of these tools. So here's what I did, right? So because if you look before that, right, the only times that I would end up posting on X is when I'm going live. So the last time before yesterday at 1:16 a.m. was on June 11th, and then before June 11th was June 9th, and then June 4th, and then June 3rd, and then and so forth, right? However, now in comes Nodemation, dun, 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 right? And what I did was, it's a very, very basic flow. So if I click in here, it's a scheduled trigger, right? Every 3 hours on the 15-minute mark. So before this show is over, we should have another X post put up there. And so go to OpenAI, and I want to post a cool controversial X post that will garner lots of comments, although I haven't garnered any comments yet, retweets or likes, or disagreements related to AI, cybersecurity, or software engineering, or a mix of any tech-based content. So that's what I want to post about, right? And then the prompt, and so that's my user prompt. That's what I want to generate from OpenAI, from ChatGPT. And my prompt is my system prompt, my system context is: you're a cool, edgy, controversial tech content creator who embraces disagreements. You are fully in favor and support AI and advocate for its use. You never start the post with what kind of opinion you're going to share. You just say it. All right. So I did that, and then it goes to X, where I had to set up my credentials for X. And so you also have to set up your credentials for OpenAI. So once that's set up, I had to go and get a client key, a client secret, select that with X, and then I said I want to create a post, right? Create a quote, create quote or reply to a tweet, and then I said all right, whatever I get from OpenAI from this node right here, I want to feed it into this node, and then it is going to so at 9:15 Eastern time, we should have another X post happening right around here. All right. And here's the kicker, right? Here's a little trick that I did for this. I have a Mac Mini. I have like, let me see, I have my work Mac, I have this Mac, I have my older Mac, I have a Mac Mini. So I have 4 Macs in this house, but the Mac Mini is pretty much always on unless there's like some type of power shortage type thing, and then it'll reboot and stuff like that. I have to turn it back on. But for the most part, I have that Mac Mini up and running all the time. So what I did was I installed Nodemation N8N using Docker Compose. So I downloaded the N8N hosting. We did this like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago on a Sunday. I downloaded that and I got it up and running with Docker, set it up and everything like that. And then so now I am able to access this right here, right? I'm able to access this right here that is running on another computer through my local area network through that. So I'm able to log into that one, and I'm able to add more. So I can go like this, and I can go to leave without saving. I can go to, let's create another one, and I can say let's do another schedule on a schedule, and I can say run this every week, right? And let's do this on Fridays, right? trigger at 10 a.m. And I could say, so if I execute this step, so this right, all that I'm doing right here, it's running on another computer, right? On my Mac Mini. And I'm able to create a whole full workflow and have that scheduled and ready to go from here, from working here, right? So I have my own NodeMation setup up and running, all of that good stuff. So, and let's say I wanted to connect a node to it. I can say like an OpenAI node. Let's say we do message and model connected, and I can say whatever I want to say, like, I don't even know, but you get the point. See, so my setup now is that because of this workflow right here, let's save that one, because this workflow right here that's active, it is going to be posting to X every 3 hours on the 15-minute mark. So at 9:15 Eastern time tonight, we should have another post that is semi-controversial. And then I can add another one to it. Say, all right, I want to make a post about this. I want to make a post about that. All of that good stuff. So automation, automating your content creation workflow first, because I do not have time to get to be posting on X all the time, but I can get my thoughts out there through the help of these tools as well as OpenAI. All right, that is, so I just wanted to share that with you. Really, really cool stuff. So powerful. And this is just a very, very, very basic workflow. I have another workflow that I was working on that it goes to Perplexity, get some information from there. Then it loops. I kind of showed it to you the other day. I played a sample of it. But now once I get it here running on this system, then it will just go through the whole process. And one more thing. I had originally built this one on my local machine. And then once I started working, I said, all right, now let me export this and import it on this new machine. And bada bing, bada boom, we have liftoff. All right, but that's it. I just want to share that with you as a little icebreaker of how powerful this is. It's something so small, but it's so helpful to me. And as we start getting into these things to automate our businesses, automate our tasks, it is going to be really, really huge. Shout out to you, Ms. Freckles. So what's up, Ms. Freckles? How are you doing? This right here is going to be a game changer for you, especially for the things that you work on, Ms. Freckles. It is going to be an absolute game changer for you. So hit me up and trust me, you really want to get into this, Ms. Freckles. You really, really want to get into this. All right. So anyways, let's get over here. And let me say hi to my friends or friend right now in the chat. We have Miss Freckles in the build. Let's see if this thing is still working. Where is it? Oh, they told me it was fixed and it is not fixed. I am so disappointed. They told me it was fixed and it's not fixed. But we have Miss Freckles in the building. What's up, Miss Freckles? How are you doing today? Hopefully everything is going well with you. So happy to see you as always. Miss Freckles says, hey, Techodrop, and everyone, hey to you as well, Miss Freckles. Hey, Miss Freckles. Anyways, all right. So we are going to get to, I'm so mad. I am so mad right now because they told me that this thing was working and it has been working. But then now, once we need it the most, that's when it fails us. It happens. All right. Anyways, when life throws you lemons, what do you do with it? You throw it right back at life. All right. So here's the deal. We are going to get to work. Let me see. We are going to put our first 20-minute segment on the screen. So, and then we'll do a quick recap of what a rag is. I call this one rags to riches because look, if you can figure this rag thing out, you will be swimming in the money like Scrooge McDuck. Yes, like Scrooge McDuck. Remember when he was swimming in his gold coins in DuckTales? I used to love DuckTales, by the way. But you will be swimming in the money like Scrooge McDuck. All right, but let's throw up our first 20 minutes.
It's time to duel!
So, let's do a quick recap. What exactly is a RAG? So before I share the screen, basically, it is a system that uses large language models and AI, and it also uses like your information, all of your resources, documentation, stuff like that. So it'll look up your documentation. It will classify it, augment it, things like that, and then when it's looking it up, it's going to use AI to provide you the response in a way that is easy to understand. So it has to index your information, and then it's going to use AI to be able to share that information back to you. All right, because imagine if you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of files with data, and there is no way you're going to be able to look through that. However, when you create the RAG and it indexes all of those files, so now when you do a search, it's going to be looking through that in order to get you that information. All right. Let's see now. So let's go over here. This is what I was working on last week. So we tried to use that basketball example to explain the RAG. It was not a very good example, but I did say, explain it to me like if I was an 8th grader. I like to use the 8th grader example because what I was saying last week was when you don't know something and then you want to explain to me like I'm a 40-year-old, like I have 40 years of experience, it doesn't work that way. So explain it to me like I am a noob, like I'm a newbie, right? So explain it to me that way. And then once I start to make sense of that, then I can start getting a more complex explanation. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Let me see if I can find my original explanation. All right. So it says, can you explain to me as an 8th grader, not using basketball examples? All right. So this is the explanation they gave us last week, right? What is a RAG? Retrieval augmented generation is the way that computers, specifically AI models like ChatGPT, so ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, whatever. Those are AI models, right? Answer questions more accurately by first looking up information and then using that information to write a response. So it's not just because chatbots will like to hallucinate. So take it like this, right? These large language models, these AI models, they are like the know-it-alls. You ever been in class and there was just that know-it-all who knew absolutely everything? So it's like, oh yeah, I've done that before. Oh yeah, I've done that before. Oh yeah, I know this. I know that. I know this. I know that. And you're like, you're only 12. How do you know all this stuff? How have you been through all these things? Right? You remember in school, the know-it-alls, like they've been to every place. They've been to every park. They've tried every sport. They knew everything. They were the original Chat GPT.
Bruh.
So just like your classmates in elementary, middle school, right? Just like those know-it-alls, AI does not like to say that when it doesn't know something. So if it doesn't know, sometimes it'll just make it up. And that's why sometimes you have to prompt it to say, if you don't know, just say that you don't know, right? Don't be hallucinating. Don't be on those shrooms, right? Don't be on those shrooms, okay? Let us know that you just don't know. Fair enough. Now with the RAG though, it's going to look up the information first. So you have all your company information, you have all that stuff indexed, right? So let's say you work in the financial sector and you have all your spreadsheets, all your data indexed and stuff like that. Now it'll look through that information first and then it'll write you up that response. So it has a less chance of hallucinating because it has actual accurate data. Now, the tricky part is if you do not keep your information updated, then it's going to be reporting on outdated information. So it's not the RAG's fault, it's your fault at that time. So you have to make sure that information stays updated, right? So think of it as a 2-step process. How does it work? So retrieval, finding the information. Before trying to answer your question, the AI goes and searches through a database or a collection of documents, kind of like how you might use Google. You might Google something or check your notes before writing an essay. It looks for the most relevant pieces of information that matches your question. So the second step is generation. writing the answer. Once it finds the best information, the AI uses it to create a well-written answer. And we know that AI writes so well that you're like, oh, this must be true. It must be true. You guys ever remember seeing that commercial? I forgot who it was for, but it says, "Oh yeah, I saw it online. It must be true." You guys remember that, right? So once it finds the right information, the best information, is going to use AI. AI is going to use that to write a well-written answer. It doesn't just copy and paste. It actually writes the answer in its own words, using what it's learned from the info it found. All right. So why is this good? It helps AI stay accurate. So it's like, in a way, your RAG is its own large language model because it has all the data, all the documents to be able to feed from. But then it uses like another large language model in order to be able to express that information correctly. So think about it like this: yesterday morning show, when I went and got the recent information from Perplexity, right? I did not like the way that it was sharing the information to me. So what I told it was, all right, I said, OpenAI, I'm going to be passing you the response that I get from Perplexity, which is going to be a very to the point news related answer. And I want you to make that in a way that an 8th grader could understand. And that's what it did. It's the same way. So in a sense, I was using Perplexity, although it's a large language model, I was using that as my RAG, as my information, right? But the way that we would really want it is like, we have our database of information. So as we see here, it says, let's keep reading it, right? It helps AI stay accurate, especially on topics it didn't memorize during training. It's hard to memorize it during training because the information might be constantly updating, constantly changing. So here's an example. You can't really train the AI on sports information, on sports scores, on sports statistics, on that type of data, because let's say during the NBA season, during the NFL season, during baseball season, during NHL season, shout out to the Florida Panthers, by the way. I actually know somebody who plays for the Florida Panthers, and they are in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals right now. They are up 2-1, hoping to make it 3-1 as well. I just have to take a second to say that, all right? But so let's say it's sports, right? And so baseball, soccer, whatever. And you want to be like a sports database where you can provide information on sports really, really quickly, but there's no way to train these models on updated sports scores, right? So what would end up happening is, let's say you have a RAG that is like the information is constantly being filtered into like some spreadsheets or whatever, right? It's just constantly coming in, maybe in some type of database. Now, the RAG, right? The way that the RAG is going to work is when you say, all right, give me the breakdown. So how do they say it? Sports analytics, right? What was I don't even know how to say it, but like, what was something with the 3-pointers what was the true shooting percentage for this power forward or whatever, right? And it's going to go and look up the most recent information from the sports scores that are coming in and say, okay, the true shooting percentage for this player was this, right? And in a way that's easy to understand, but that information is not going to be hallucinated or outdated if the information has constantly. So let's say, when is the next basketball game? I think the next finals game is on Friday, right? So let's say Friday. So let's say on Friday, as the game is going on, the data is filtering into wherever the information is stored, right? It is filtering in like on a real time basis. So if you were to ask your RAG, like at halftime, how many points, or what is the shooting percentage of this player, right? It should be able to give you an accurate result, an accurate answer, from my understanding, right? Now, don't quote me on this, but that's my understanding. You can also say who who is having a better true shooting percentage game between this player and that player. And it should be able to get that information. If the information is being updated, it should be able to get it at that point, right? So that's how I would explain it from a sports sense, okay? So let's say the AI updates its answer over time by checking new or changing info, right? So it's great for specialized subjects like medicine, law, or science because it can pull from trusted sources instead. So let's say for a medicine, right? Whatever is the journals that like or library, that medical information uses, you can have it pull from that and index all of that information so that now when you go ask it for about some medical information, it's going to be pulling from the latest and greatest approved content, trusted sources, and put it in a way. So if you say, all right, explain this to me like I'm 6 years old, right? So it should go and look up from those sources and then give you back an explanation of that information as if you were 6 years old. Okay. But however, some things can go wrong. Things can go wrong. If the AI retrieves the wrong information, the answer could be wrong, even if it sounds confident. Like the know-it-alls I was talking about, right? If the database it checks is outdated or not very good, the answer might be weak.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
It takes more time and computing power than just guessing from memory. Yeah, so I mean, if you make it up, it's going to go really fast. But if it needs to be accurate and reach out to the database, it's going to take more power, more time. So when I was watching the video of how the guy was building his own RAG, it took like maybe 30 seconds or so for it to go through all the information and then provide an answer. Sometimes maybe even longer, right? So it just depends on how big your database is and how much computing power you have for it, right? So in summary, Retrieval Augmented Generation RAG is like an AI that finds useful information first and then uses that information to write a smart answer. Okay. All right. So now let's go all the way down to where we're at here. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna start a new prompt, right? I'm gonna say, let me see. I don't know why I have this showing over here. I'm going to say, I want to build a RAG system that will help me with vulnerability analysis after I'm done with my reconnaissance. I think I spelled that wrong. Reconnaissance. And scanning when I am doing penetration testing. All right, so let's see what it gives us. All right, now we can tailor the system specifically to your post-reconnaissance workflow as a penetration tester. So the goal, RAG for vulnerability analysis after scanning. You're done with tools like Nmap, Masscan, or Nessus, and now you have open ports, service banners, OS fingerprinting, version numbers, maybe some CVEs from scans. Now you want a retrieval augmented generation RAG that ingests scan results, retrieves real vulnerability intelligence, generates a clear summary with exploitation methods and mitigation. So your ideal N8N powered RAG workflow. So input your scan data, use an N8N node, webhook, file upload, or manual trigger to feed it in. A JSON or text export from tools like Nmap or Nessus. I think I have some of those saved. Sample input. So let's say this JSON over here. I don't know why that's the input. Extract CVE or vulnerability tags, parse CVE directly from scan data, some tools output CVEs or call a service like NVD API. All right, so, and then generate an AI summary. But where would I put, all right, so use RAG retrieval by pulling CVE descriptions, severity, use APIs or web scraping for sources like, so this is for the retrieval of the information. All right, so these are some sources. Use APIs or web scraping for sources like, and then send everything to the OpenAI node or another large language model with a prompt like okay, so scan data, retrieve the CVE info, output to report or interface. Bonus features to add later, integrate with Shodan, Hunter.io, and enrich recon data before analysis. Use a local vector database. Speed up custom lookups from prior pen tests. Schedule weekly sync. Keep logs in Notion. Want to start the end-to-end workflow. So let's do this because I want to, because in the video that I was watching, they were using a Chroma DB as their local vector DB. So how can we do this via Python code and the Chroma for our vector DB? I want to see how we can do it like with the traditional way and using Chroma DB, our local vector database. So a Python app that accepts scan results from Nmap or NSYS or Nessus, extracts service and version info, queries Chroma database for relevant vulnerability data retrieval, sends context to a large language model like OpenAI to generate a vulnerability analysis report. So we're going to need the Chroma embed. We're going to need our so for vector DB Chroma. For our embeddings, we're going to be using OpenAI embeddings or Census Transformer. Large language model, we're going to be using OpenAI. Python libraries, we're going to be doing Chroma DB, OpenAI, results, JSON. And our directory structure, ethical hacking RAG, and loaddocs.py, and scan input.json, sample of scan data, and then RAG query core, RAG logic, and a place to store API keys. All right, so let's see. The way that would start. So basically, let's finish reading through this, and then in our next segment, we will start this implementation. All right. And what we can do to start it off is let's start off with like hard coding the information, and then we can start to see how we can feed more data into it. All right. And we have to also find a way to find these documents as well. All right. So basically, this is the code for load docs. We'll get that in there. And then we'll probably be taking this into like the next week or so, because this is going to be really, really cool, really, really important how we're bringing the RAG with our cybersecurity vulnerability analysis all in one spot. All right. So our OpenAI. So this is for the RAG query, which is going to be load the scan results. All right. So that's the results that we get. So that means that when we do our what do you call that thing? In Kali Linux, when we do our scan, we need to make it export as a JSON file. So now we're going to be loading that JSON file, and we're going to say, all right, so then it's going to start the Chroma DB, get or create a collection, vulnerability docs, and then it's going to be passing in our OpenAI key here, and then it's going to be doing for entry and scan ports and entry and service version, all that, and then prompt your cybersecurity analyst based on the following scan data and retrieve vulnerability, generate professional report with a summary of the vulnerabilities, how each might be exploited, recommended mitigations. and then sample scan input. So we're gonna have this hard coded in order to test it out, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Would you like me to generate this? Ooh, yeah.
Lunch break. Would
you like me to generate the sample CVE dataset? That's going to be awesome. It'll let us know what type of information we need. A Streamlit front end for this tool. Ooh, that sounds like fun. A Streamlit. I like how Streamlit sounds. And a pre-built Docker file plus the requirements. I don't think I need a Docker file right now, but maybe in the future. Right? Anyways, let's go to break, and then we shall come back to this. All right. So let me see who we have in the building this fine Thursday night, where I'm feeling much better. So happy to be with you guys again. All right. So Miss Freckles had said, oh my goodness, these people would drive me crazy. All right, Miss Freckles had said, market the lemons for everything they are worth. The last thing you do is make lemonade. That's what I'm talking about, Miss Freckles. That is what I am talking. You know how it goes, Miss Freckles. And we have, let's see, Wave Nerd in the building. What's up, Wave Nerd? How are you doing tonight? Hopefully everything is doing well. I know that you love this topic on the rags to riches. We got my guy Magnetar in the building. What's up, Magnetar? Magnetar says, Sith Coach Ralph.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Thought I died there for a second there. Ooh, okay. Sorry about that. Anyways, and Magnetar says to Miss Freckles that we lost. Sorry to hear that. We got Ferris in the building. Ferris says, I am the AI. Shout out to you, Ferris. Happy to see you here. And Miss Freckles says, boo, not cool, not cool.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
Sorry, guys. Well, you can always try to win here. You can still try to win here. Let's see. Ferris says, dark side making code. Nah, but as Magnetar says, I am still getting over the cold. I feel like 97% better, right? Just a little nagging cough every now and then, but I don't have a headache anymore. I feel great. I'm able to move around and about. I'm able to eat all that good stuff. So I feel good. I don't have to take any medicine. I just a little nagging cough that will not go away yet. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We do not miss. All right. Let me see. And Miss Freckles says, oh no, we need Rod Brown to bring him back to the good side. What? Look, Miss Freckles, just remember, I am not the one, right? I am not the one who had my shirt off on a thumbnail, right? I am just saying it was not me, okay?
Bruh.
It wasn't me. It was not me. I'm always fully dressed. All right. I'm just saying, Miss Freckles. All right. So I'm not gonna call any names, Thirst Trap Brown, but I have always been fully dressed on all of my thumbnails. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Anyways, I'm not messing with you. Let me stop. Ferris says, yes, he needs to be a good employee and experience Order 66. Whoa. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about, Ferris? Who needs to experience Order 66? Huh? What? Whoa. Don't you wish that type of evil on me, Ricky Bobby? Don't you wish that type of evil on me, Ricky Bobby? Because it says not bragging or anything, but I don't get sick. I never got sick either, and then I had a kid, and when he gets sick, I get sick, all right? Versus, I guess Star Wars is a good analogy for the job market. Well, sorry to break it to you. I do not know anything about Star Wars. I remember at a couple of jobs ago, the VP of engineering, he was a crazy Star Wars person. He took the whole team to see Star Wars, and I was sitting up front, and I fell asleep watching Star Wars. I forgot which one it was. I don't know. It was in like 2017ish, whichever one that would have been. I fell asleep. All right. And Jessica says, "Where are the paramedics? Blood on the street from Tech Coach Ralph. Poor Rod Brown. What?" Versus damn fake. Whoa. 1 second here. 1 second here. I never said I was a fan in the first place. The only reason that I play.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Is for my dear federal employee friend Magnetar. That's the only reason that I play that sound effect. Is for my dear federally employed friend Magnetar. Other than that, there would be absolutely no reason for me to play that sound bite at all. All right,
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
Right? I'm just being honest. It says, okay, the 2017 era is bad. I don't know the ones from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s, from the 2010s, from the 2020s. I don't know none of them. I don't know none of that stuff. I don't know nothing about that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Ain't believing us.
Sorry, not sorry. Let's see. Zoka says, too many excuses. I hope you. All right. Anyways, all right. Let's get. Let me stop messing with you. You guys are gonna get me in trouble. Because I have this hoodie on nerdy. Oh, can't even see it. I have this hoodie on nerdy by nature, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about Star Wars. They're like, all right, take that hoodie off. Look, I'm a nerd in other ways, right? I'm just saying. Let's see. It says, I think you're a Dune kind of guy. What is Dune? What is? Can you elaborate? What is Dune? I don't know what Dune is. Miss Freckles says federal schmederal. I tried. All right, anyway, let me stop messing with you guys. All right. Let's go to this topic. So what I want to talk about in our first break is the GitLab. You guys know GitLab. It's like GitHub, but GitLab. They say that more engineers, not less, thanks to AI. Let's get this topic up on the screen. I think it was the CEO who said it, but I could be wrong. But more engineers, not less, thanks to AI. So let's jump into this topic real quick. Let me see, where is that article? It is. Boom. All right, let's get to it. So I'm going to throw up 5 minutes on the clock for this one. And since as coding gets easier with AI, there will be more engineers, not fewer, says GitLab's CEO. Let's see how he's going to approach this, because everywhere that we look, it says there's going to be no more engineers. They're all going to be gone because AI is going to take over all the jobs. Well, I've been coding with AI over the past few weeks, and it's been very interesting. I definitely see a need for QA. Right? All right, let's see what's going on. So let's see. So this article is written by bear with me here, Shubhangi Goel, right? Sorry. All right, so it says, GitLab CEO says AI coding assistants will only increase the number of engineers. AI tools like GitLab's Duo allow coding without deep technical skills, he said. GitLab's revenue rose 27% in Q1, but Q2 guidance disappointed, causing its stock to plunge. On an earnings call for the code management software company on Tuesday, Staples said AI coding assistants will increase the number of engineers because people can now code without advanced technical skills. That's a good point. There's a raging debate about this, and I think a lot of it is born out of anxiety about the future of engineers, the future by engineers, Staples said. Staples said throughout his 30-year career, he has seen advances in productivity that appear to make engineering skills less necessary. This one is definitely stronger than other times because of the power of AI, he said, but every time I've also seen that higher level of abstraction and more productivity actually yields more opportunity. I kind of feel like I was saying this the other day that I see that the need for engineers is going to grow. However, it is going to be a horizontal scale as opposed to a vertical scale where all of the engineers are working for the same major companies. It makes these very, very talented and sometimes not as talented engineers scale horizontally because now more access to these engineers. And they can put out a lot faster work as well. I said that like last week, maybe. All right. It says GitLab's coding assistant Duo competes with tools like Microsoft's Copilot, Cursor, and Windsurf. Staples said that customers are testing coding assistants side by side, but he doesn't have a lot of concern about GitLab's ability to compete. GitLab's chief financial officer, Brian Robbins, said that AI coding has been good for its business. Customers are adding more employees to their subscriptions, and more code is being produced, which GitLab's other services help manage. In the first quarter, GitLab's reported revenue rose 27% year over year to $214.5 million, slightly above the analyst's forecast. Revenue guidance of $226 million to $227 million for the second quarter fell short of the projected $227 million, disappointing investors.
Bruh.
It really sucks to disappoint investors, all right? GitLab stock tumbled over 12% after hours on Tuesday. GitLab is up 11% in the past year because of growing subscriptions and price increases. Well, price increases do help the money go up. GitLab did not immediately respond for a request for a comment. Using AI to write code dubbed vibe coding, it's a vibe, by OpenAI co-founder Andre Karpathy has skyrocketed this year. While some in tech circles say leaning on it heavily is short-sighted and the task is being trivialized, vibe coding has already started changing how much big tech and venture capital value people with software engineering expertise. Earlier this week, Business Insider reported that vibe coding is no longer a nice-to-have skill. It's no longer a nice-to-have skill? Job listing from Visa, Reddit, DoorDash, and a host of startups showed that companies explicitly require vibe coding experience or familiarity with AI code generators like Cursor and Bolt. Oh, so it's no longer a nice to have. It is now a requirement. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Like I said, if you do not come on board, I kind of said this on X, right? I said, let's see. Don't let the fear-mongering headlines fool you. I kind of said it on X. AI isn't here to replace your job. It's here to supercharge your potential. The real threat comes from the outdated mindset and the inability to adapt. Embrace.
Move on, back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
Ready to embrace the future, or are you choosing to cling to fear and resistance? Resistance is futile. All right. Where were we? So let's see. Big tech is getting in on the action as well. At a conference last week, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, I should know how to say his name, but I don't, said he had a delightful time vibe coding a web page. The Google CEO is vibe coding too. Let's get it. Last week, Business Insider reported Amazon is discussing formally adopting Cursor after employees inquired about using the tool. If you enjoyed this story, all right, be sure to follow Business Insider on Amazon. All right, so that's it. So that is the story that GitLab CEO says more engineers, not less, due to AI and the ability for them to get more work done out there, right? I do plan to make a video probably in the Patreon on the apps that I've built using these vibe coding platforms and how my prompts look and the errors that I had, the challenges and how I overcame them. Look, I know they say like, oh, anybody can do it. There is a certain level to know what's going on and how to fix it and guiding, because I have to guide the AI. I see the AI like a very smart engineer, but it does lack some things, because like I'll say, oh, this error is happening. Oh, I see why. I'm like, well, if you see why didn't you see it before? So maybe that's a way for them to use some extra credits. I don't know, but I do kind of agree with this GitLab CEO that I do see a need for more engineers. Maybe not all at Netflix, maybe not all at Amazon, maybe not all at Microsoft, but I do see that software engineers might become the new gig economy, where there's an app. Well, I mean, it kind of exists now, right? But you can get an application done in a weekend for somebody, a really high powered application done in a weekend for somebody, and you can charge them like maybe what, $1,500, $10,000, whatever, depending on how complex it is, and you're good to go. And you are good to go. So I see a lot of rising potential here. All right. Anyways, let's go back to full screen. That's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree or do you disagree? Leave me a comment. Let me know in the chat. Do you agree or disagree with the GitLab CEO saying that AI is going to bring more engineers, not less? Do you disagree with me, where I say that it's going to flatten out? It's going to be a horizontal scale of the need for engineers, not a vertical where the top companies only have a handful of the best engineers. It's going to make maybe some not so good ones, maybe some very good ones available to a lot more people. There's going to be teams that are be forming. There's going to be that gig economy for engineers. Let me know your thoughts. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. All right, let's wrap that one up. And I'm gonna check the chat one last time, and then we are going to get to our next segment of work. All right. Let me see what we got going on over here. Let's see. Fair says gonna apply for jobs while you that's the spirit. That I do this so you guys can actually get to work. All right. I'm working, you're working, we're all working. It's work after work. Okay. It's homework. Ms. Freckle says, I will thanks the good Lord for not sending it my way. Oh, wait a second. It says, did I miss something? Hold on. I think I missed something. It says, oh, because when Ms. Freckle says federal schmederal, Maggie says, hush, Freckles, before I start snowing in St. Louis. Wow. Snowing in June? That would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. And Mr. Circle says, I will thank the good Lord for not sending it my way. Is it really snowing somewhere right now in the United States? That is crazy. Let's see. GitLab search is horrible. I have never used GitLab before. I've only used GitHub for my repository management. So you might be. I have no idea. Magna says, no, the snow is coming. The snow is coming your way. Not in June and July. All right. You cannot have snow for Independence Day. All right. Fair says, well, he isn't wrong. It will be AI engineering. I think it's valid too. AI engineers, prompt engineers, software engineers who understand, because I think that you kind of have to understand what the AI is doing, what it's building. I still think you got to do code reviews and stuff like that. With Devin, it opens pull requests, and you have to approve those pull requests. I think it's going to be a lower barrier to entry, but you're still going to have to learn and know how this stuff works, right? I've used it myself, and you gotta know when to back out, when to revert, when to go for a different direction. In one of the apps that I was building like 2 days ago, I would say, all right, this is the error that I'm getting. This is the error that is getting. And it could, like, the AI could not figure it out. I could have ended up using all my credits. And so I had to say, oh, you know what? I think we need to go a different direction. I think that we need to change the user experience to this. And then it actually said, oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's going to be a much better user experience. And Boom, 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 boom. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to cost the company, you're going to cost yourself a lot of money. See, me, because I come from I work in tech, I work in software engineering, and I can see my credits being used. I say I know how to prompt it so I can efficiently save my money and get the more out of it. So the inexperienced people are going to be wasted. They're going to be blowing through their money like that. The ones who know what needs to be done, they are going to be very, very frugal with their AI credits. All right. Let's see. Ferris says that he needs another job. Ferris, I'm surprised you only have one right now. Okay. Normally you're like a 10 job kind of guy. Just saying. I'm just saying. Ferris says software engineering is the new help desk, $20 per hour. I don't think so. Because you can sell something on, you can sell something on an application basis, on a speed basis. Like, what's the complexity of the application that you want? How fast do you need it? Like I said, you can easily, I can easily see somebody racking up like 10 grand in a weekend because they have the know-how to build something, get it done right, get it tested correctly, all of that good stuff. And it's a really complex app, but they can do it really, really quick within a week into a week. So it just depends on the quality. It depends on the quality, right? Ferris says more engineers equals cheap pay. Ain't nobody want those jobs. We'll see. We shall see. And here's the thing: engineers can also start creating their own applications as well. You just need, if they partner up with somebody with ideas and so many different things. It's you just don't know. Mr. Chris says, I pray a career finds you with the work you put in. Ms. Freckles, a little story about Ferris. He had like 10 careers at the same time. All right. He is the definition of overemployment. All right. It says, why won't companies make Indians vibe code? They probably do. They probably do. Well, there was a story about Builder.ai where they said that they were a AI coding platform, but actually they had people in India who were trying to code really, really fast. I don't believe it. I don't know how that actually happens, but that was a story that I heard. Let's see. Middle-class Americans are cooked. Middle-class Americans always been cooked, so it doesn't even matter. Like that is not a new statement. They've been cooked since the beginning of time. All right. It says they aren't being specific. More engineers from India vibe coding. There's engineers here. I don't buy that. It says Sith Coach Ralph is mean to his AI and clone. What? No, I treat my AI with the utmost respect. We are a team. When I'm talking to the AI, I say, what do you think about this? I think we should do that. I say we. I do not say you better go and do that. I say no. I think we're a team. We're a partnership, right? Me and my AI, we are a team. We work together, we collaborate, and we get things done. Harris says gig economy is crazy. No, gig economy gives you the ability to run it up, right? Gig economy means it's how much effort do you put in, right? So I'm with it. It says most don't make money off gig jobs. Most people don't make money off their regular jobs. Most people they spend a whole year paying a 2-week vacation when they've been on vacation for the whole year anyways, right? So it says I agree, just it won't be in America, or if it's gig, it's 15-20. I don't agree with you. It says startup and content creator boom. Look at that. Snow in June equals disrespect. Tell me about it, Miss Freckles.
Ain't believing us.
Tell me about it. Says, oops, I'm late. Oh, Miss Freckles, do not be late. Miss Freckles.
Do not come.
Get to Bible study, Miss Freckles. Get to Bible study. Ferris says, you just contradicted yourself. If it lowers the barrier to entry and the assumption here are more engineers coming on, they won't have to know how for AI economics. It lowers the human capital. Let me read that again because that's a lot of words, right? It says you just contradicted your statements. If it lowers the barrier to entry and the assumption here, more engineers coming on, they won't have the know-how for AI. The same way that when you have people graduating college who are engineers, you have you have to do there's different levels, right? So based on the quality you get, the people who are really good are going to charge a lot of money. The people who aren't, they're going to charge less, and people are going to find they're going to mess around and find out that, oh, I shouldn't have gone with this person. I should go with this person who has been a software engineer for X amount of time, who also knows how to use these coding platforms, who can produce very, very quickly. So everyone, like, people have to still do their own research. So I don't think I contradicted myself whatsoever. See, the way I see it, I can't see how the human capital value maintains high, but we onboard more software engineers. You would need senior to fully make it efficient to use AI to maintain value. See how you want to see it. Let's see. My AI works for me. It is my own digital assassin. And as Wave Nerd says that his AI works for him and his own digital assassin, with me, with my background, like, you can ask, because Wave Nerd has seen me do this, right? With my background in engineering and software testing, I'm able to do these little tricks with the prompting with the AI to get even more out of it. So the people with more know-how, it's like, here's your contradiction, Ferris. If everyone can get a car, right? Who's the better driver, the race car driver or the person who just got their license yesterday, right? So I think the race car driver is still a better driver, but everyone can get a car. So that's the same way. Anybody can sign up for a vibe coding platform. Not everybody can do it well. Not everybody knows what to ask the AI to do in order to produce something, right? It says, I guess it's time to make a boot camp. Go for it. All right. Anyways, let's get to our next segment of where we're actually going to start to write some code. All right. So let's get to it.
Let's go!
All right. I'm going to go ahead and open up PyCharm. Create a new project. We're going to call this, move this over here. We are going to call this project Ethical Hacking RAG. All right, so, and I'll be referencing back and forth to our ChatGPT guide, but let's go with, start off with our first Python file. We're going to say load docs.py. And in here, we are going to say, all right, so we need to do a, let me see. We're going to go to our Python packages. And we are going to, where are my packages? Select an interpreter to see, what are you talking about? Select the, hold on. Let me see, settings, file. Let's see. Where is that project settings? Am I blind or something? Let me see. Rename project. Project. All right. So Python interpreter. Let's go with Python. I want to create its own. environment location is not empty. Existing. All right, there we go. And let's go ahead and do that. Let's update our pip installer while we're there. Let me see. All right, now we're gonna go to, Chroma. It's Chroma DB. Install that. Guess we'll do that. So it's installing Chroma DB. We're going to start off with import Chroma. Still installing Chroma DB. Let's see, install Chroma DB. All right, it's installing now. And we're going to say, while it's doing that, from, apparently this one takes a little bit of time to install. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to import the embedding functions from Chroma DB. So Chroma DB is a vector. So let's do this. While it's doing its thing, let's go and do what is Chroma DB? Chroma DB is an open source vector database designed specifically for storing and managing vector embeddings. And there are, I believe, like, not that I believe, I'm sure there are some, like on Google Cloud Platform, on AWS, on Microsoft Azure. There are databases that you can use to store and manage vector embeddings as well. I would not recommend having this on a local machine because it could probably slow it down dramatically as it starts to add more and more information. So what are vector embeddings? Vector embeddings are numerical representations of data like text, images, or audio that captures their meaning and relationship. Why is Chroma DB useful? Chroma DB allows you to efficiently store and retrieve these vector embeddings, enabling tasks like semantic search, finding information based on its meaning rather than just keywords, recommendation systems, suggesting related items based on user preferences or item similarity, AI applications, working with large language models and other AI systems that rely on vector data. So what are the key features of Chroma DB? Open source, it's free and open source under the Apache 2.0 license, allowing for flexible use, ease of use, simple API and quick setup, performance, optimized for speed with in-memory and persistent storage, flexibility, supports various embeddings types and distance metrics, metadata management, stores and filters by metadata alongside embedding, scalability, can be scaled to handle growing data needs, language support, native clients for popular languages like Python and JavaScript, and integrated with AI tools, supports embedding models from various providers and integrates with frameworks like LangChain and Llama Index, right? So that is what the vector, and that is what Chroma DB is, a vector database, all right? So let's go back to this one. And where are we at? So now we're going to do the from chromadb.utils import embedding functions, and we're going to import JSON, all right? So let's go back over here. Now that it's done, from chromadb.utils import embedding functions, all right? And then we're going to say import JSON. All right. Next up, client. And this is going to be our Chroma DB client. chromadb.client collection equals client.get or create collection. And it's going to be called docs, vulnerability docs. All right. Next up, we're going to say with open. So Magnetar Ms. Freckles, when you were here, whoever else, remember when I said that you guys should learn Python? This is why. We are with open is how to open a file. Very, very important. I told you guys gotta catch on to this stuff. Learn Python, very, very important. Docs equals JSON.load F now we're gonna say open AI underscore embed equals embedding function dot open AI embedding function. And then we're going to say API key, but we're going to have to say, let's go ahead in here. So I'm going to say, this is going to be open AI API key. All right. So now this one doesn't really exist yet, but we are going to do a .env file, .env, and we do not want to add that. And we're going to say open AI API key equals hello, right? Just for the time being. Now we're going to say I am going to say import OS, and I'm going to say open AI API key equals OS dot how do you do that again inside of let me see, import .env dot let me see. For now, let's put it like that, right? But we want to get it from the .env file where it can be secure and not stored. Let me see. Let's go over here real quick. We do it in the mornings all the time. Python get environment variable from .env. All right, so there goes from .env. There we go. So just copy that in there. Load .env. All right, cool. So got that. We're going to say os.get env, and that's going to be open AI API key. All right. And we could just leave it at that. And we could probably define it somewhere else totally. And that'll be fine. All right. So let's see here. Now that we have that, we want to go to, let me close this up. For doc in docs, so this is here, collection.add documents equals doc summary metadatas So we will see what is inside of these files so that we can have a better understanding of what this is actually doing. But let's get this up and running, and then not up and running, but let's get this coded in here, and then we can do a deeper dive in like what exactly is going on. So then there's a comma here, and we say service colon doc dot. So basically what's happening here, right? It's reading from the file that's here, this JSON. We'll take a look at the JSON, but it's saying find CVID, and it's going to be associated with this. The service is going to be associated with the doc service. And then we're going to say version colon doc version. All right, and then we have that. Next up, we have IDs, which would be doc. And we're going to assign the IDs to be the doc CVE ID. And then, comma, embedding function equals open AI embed. Why is unexpected argument? Maybe it should just be embedding. Maybe they updated it. Why is that not working? Let me see. Embedding. Oh, embeddings equals open. Maybe they updated it. Like sometimes ChatGPT is out of date, especially depending on the model that you're using. Let me see. Expected. Let me see. So we have collection add documents. We got documents. We got metadatas. We got that. We got IDs. We got that. Embed. It's supposed to be embedding functions. Unexpected argument. Why is that not working? Let me see. Add D-type embeddings. Let's see. Something is missing, it feels like, but let me see if I do. To do should have embedding function equals open AI embed here. Not sure why that's not taking, but we'll leave it as that for now, and then we'll look into it a little bit more. And then outside of this for loop, let's say print CVE docs added to Chroma. All right. So this is to add the docs to it. All right. Now, let's see. So step 2. So now we're over into here. Step 2, load scan results and query Chroma. All right. So now we're going to be creating our rag_query.py. I'm not sure why that first one didn't work, but let's start on this one, right? So let's go to create a new file. For me, to learn, the way that I learn best is by actually doing. So by me seeing this code written, let me actually, before I even do that, right? What I want to do is, what happens if I try to run that file? because we would end up running. I suppose it's going to give us an error saying that let me see, load docs. What file would I end up running? Ingest known CVE data. Scan input. So I guess scan input would be its own thing. This one is the data set. This one is the scan input. Then what is this one? Then sample scan. Okay, so let me try running the load docs, right? Let's see, because I have to see it run to see what errors I get. Let's see what happens. All right, so it says that there's no CV data set, which is fair. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take ChatGPT's offer, right, to generate a sample data set. Yes. Can you generate a sample CVE data set.json for me, please? Yeah, I'm very nice to AI. I'm very nice to my AI, because they're my friends. A lot nicer than people, and they help you be so much more efficient. So I think you should be absolutely positively kind to AI. All right. So I'm just gonna click this copy right here. I'm gonna copy all of this for me. Let me see. Can you make it 3 times, or let's go with 10 times longer? Can you make it 10 times more entries in the results and add the CVSS score, exploit links, and tags to have a more comprehensive data set? All right. Let's see what else it said. It said, if you want to regularly update this file from live data, I can help you write a script that pulls real CV data from NVD API or Vulner's API. What? That is definitely like, so once we get this working with our sample data set, then we can definitely get that script to pull in the information with the APIs so that we can actually have a real working RAG, right? From rags to riches. Let me know if you'd like a version with more entries. Yes, more. I already asked for that. A live streaming. That's going to be later on. All right. So absolutely 25 entries. It's scalable to hundreds of thousands. All right, we got all that. So I'm going to copy this, and we're going to go over here real quick before we go to break. I am going to throw in a new. I'm going to make a folder called datasets, right? And I'm going to name it new file CVE underscore dataset.json. I'm going to throw that in there. Wait, and hold on one second. Okay, I'm about to say, like, where's my more data, all right? Let me go, and since pasting all 25 inches is impractical, here is a downloadable JSON. All right, sometimes you got to read the whole thing, right? So let me go ahead and download this file. File not found. Well, that's unfortunate. That sucks. Well, whatever. We'll use what we got. We'll use what we got, unfortunately. All right. So let me take this off over here. And now if I go and I run this one more time. Oh, no. I have to add in. My bad. Let's do datasets.cve JSON. Let's run that. And no module named OpenAI. All right. So we will. That's why I like to run. Do a little bit of code, run, do a little bit of code, run. So when we come back, we will add the module for OpenAI and we'll go from there, right? So Let's go to break though. Let's go to break. Let me see. Let me check the chat, and then we will get to our next topic for our break. Let's see. Versus the point is not everyone can be the race car driver. I mean, people drag race all the time. People think they're race car drivers and they get into terrible accidents. So, yeah, not everyone can be the race car driver, just like not everyone can be the engineer. All right, look. Told the story before, right? Somebody that I know, they took a boot camp, a full stack software engineering boot camp, right? And now on every email signature they have full stack software developer. They probably have not written more than 10,000 lines of code, right? They've never really used it. They took a boot camp just to say that they're a software engineer, but they do not do any software engineering. So my point is, you're going to have different levels. And not everyone can say they're a software engineer. Well, they can't say. Anybody can say that they're a race car driver, right? Anybody can identify as a race car driver. That doesn't mean that they are a race car driver. So that's what I'm saying. And make that income. I don't know why you or people in general think that I or anyone has to care about everybody else. I care about the people who want to win. I care about myself. I care about the people who want to win. If you want to be elite, then you're gonna have to do the things to make you elite. There's no AI to be a like every single day when 8 p.m. rolls around, I get 5 new credits to do to add more features to my application. I look forward to 8 p.m. Eastern time so I can go and add more features, and that way it makes me better. It makes me learn more. It makes my prompting better. It makes my product development better, my product ownership and product development better. So you don't just come and say, "Oh, I want this," and then all of a sudden you have something. It doesn't work that way. So, but for those who are not software engineers, they will not see it the way that I see it right now, right? Anyways, let's get to break. All right, next break time topic, we want to talk about N8N to manage your finances. Do you guys remember earlier I showed you how I use N8N to post for me on X? Well, somebody used N8N to manage your finances. So I definitely want to talk about that because finances is always a major thing. So let's take a look at that, right? So using N8N to manage our finances. Let's run it up.
Money.
So let's see how they did that. All right. All right. So let me go over to here. I'm gonna throw up 5 minutes on the timer for that. So it says, I use N8N every day to manage my finances, and it has massively improved my life.
Let's get it.
This was written by Sumuk Ro, published 4 days ago. All right. So it says N8N flexibility, AI workflow automation for technical teams. Look, last week when I was playing around with it, I kind of messed it up, but I had it go and get data from Perplexity of economic data, and then get more details about each data point that it got for the week, and then pass it through OpenAI to make it in a way that's easy to understand, and then take that information, make it in like a conversational podcast format, send it to 11 Labs in order to use that information to make a podcast, and then upload the audio file to Google Drive, right? So trust me, I see the power in N8N and Nodemation. I am spending time just about every day getting better at it as well because I see where the future is going. So many different opportunities that are available for that. All right. So let's see what this is. This is managing personal finances can feel like a never-ending chore. Ain't that the truth?
Bruh.
A few years ago, I was drowning in a sea of bank statements, bills, and random expenses I had forgotten to track. I wasn't sure when my payment deadlines were. I often lost sight of my budget when buying new gadgets. Who are you telling? And I spent hours piecing together where my money went. It was stressful, time-consuming, and needlessly complicated. So I decided to take matters into my own hand. Since all my banking records are present on my email, I wanted to automate fetching and reading the data so that I could create an expense tracker, bill payment reminder, and a financial goal builder all in one.
We the best.
It says, while popular options like Zapier and IFTTT, what does that stand for again? Oh my God, I don't remember what that stands for. What does IFTTT stand for? It stands for if this, then that. All right, yeah. I've used it before in the past. I just haven't used it in so long, I forgot what it stood for, right? It says, I decided to take a different approach. I picked N8N Nodemation, an open source workflow automation tool for the job. After using it for quite a while, I can safely say that it was the right decision. Now I use N8N Nodemation every day to manage my finances, and the peace of mind, efficiency, and control it brings is game changing. If you're tired of financial chaos, just like I was, I'll show you how N8N can tidy up your money matters and make your life so much easier.
Let's get it.
So this person is getting started. So they have their workflow when chat message received. They have an AI agent that is going to go to OpenAI, Windows buffer memory, parse message, and save to Sheets. So it's going to open up. It's going to save it to. Getting a message. It's going to go to OpenAI, and then it's going to save something to a sheet. And then workflow input trigger, expense text to JSON parser, save expense to Google Sheet, and then it has an OpenAI chat model. All right, let's keep looking. It says, N8N is a powerful workflow automation platform. Think of it as a digital assistant that connects your apps, services, and data to automate repetitive tasks so you don't have to lift a finger. Story of my life, right? It says, you need to design workflows by linking nodes, little building blocks for triggers and actions to make things happen automatically. It's open source and can be self-hosted on your home server, like I did, right? Like I did on your home server, keeping your data secure. Unlike other automation tools, the fact that N8N can be self-hosted means it's free of cost and doesn't have a subscription fee. Right here is my N8N server, my Nodemation, self-hosted on a computer on my network that nobody else can get to, right? I'm just saying.
We the best.
Let's keep reading. All right, so you can get a Docker image and decide to self-host your app on your computer or even a Raspberry Pi or a NAS. Once you have it up and running, it's time to set up all the different automations to track the various parameters. I just did, I imported it from Git, and I said Docker Compose up, and bada bing, bada boom. One thing led to another.
Get a move on, back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. You're back to work, back to work, back to work.
So this person says automating expense tracking. So let's see. When I first decided to start tracking my expenses, I'd save receipts, jot down purchases in a messy Google Sheet, and still miss half my spending with N8N. None of that happens anymore. I set up a workflow that watches my email inbox for purchases, confirmations, and bank transaction alerts. Using a Gmail node, N8N grabs emails from retailers or my bank, extracts key details like amount, date, and merchant with a simple parsing node, and logs them into a Google Sheet. No more manual entries. I even added a categorization step. Nodemation checks if the purchase is from, say, a grocery store or an e-commerce portal, and then tags it as food or electronics. At the end of the month, I get a clean, organized spreadsheet showing exactly where my cash goes. This has saved me hours and gives me a clear picture of my habits. You can't forget to pay your bills anymore. Your Amex bill is due tomorrow. You better pay it today to avoid a late payment. Your Airtel phone bill is due tomorrow. If you wish to continue making calls, it's time to pay right away. All right. Missing a bill payment means the late fees. All right, we got that. Don't exceed your monthly spending. Categorizing everything. Overspending on tech or impulse buying a new pair of sneakers is common. Thankfully, Nodemation can help you limit your spending. Let's say 200 for categories like dining out or hobbies in the Google Sheet. My expense tracking workflow feeds daily spending into the sheet. Another Nodemation flow tallies up. If I'm close to my limit, and it then fires a Telegram alert saying, slow the hell down. You're spending too much damn money. I've also got a weekly summary that hits my inbox every Sunday, breaking down my expenses by category. This real nudge keeps me disciplined. Let's see, managing money has never been easier. And let's see. I'm in my workflow with Power Toys. Let's see. All right, that's about it. So basically, he doesn't actually show how they did it. They just said that they did it. Well, I think it's a cool concept. If I was gonna do this, right, I would have to like the tools that I use would have to need to have APIs integrated and stuff like that. Because, yeah. Anyways, whatever. Let's go back. But I think I've seen a lot of promising things from Nodemation and a lot of different business opportunities as well, especially using those AI agents, right? Anyways, let's do one more working segment before we get up out of here, right? Let me see. All right, so let me just throw up one. Let me get this off the screen. Let's do one more working segment for tonight, all right?
It's time to do.
So when we last left off, we had an error saying there's no module named OpenAI. We did not pull in OpenAI, so we have to pull in OpenAI. Let's do import OpenAI, and we're going to install that package. All right, so now if we try to run it again, we should get a different error. Oh, something is happening. Something is happening. It's adding, it looks like it's adding it to our Chroma DB. Let's close that. So something is happening. 79.3 megabytes. Let me see, what is it doing? It is ooh, look at that. Look at that. Would you look at here? CV docs added to Chrome. So I'm kind of worried about that though, because I never put an OpenAI key in there. So let me, why was it saying that it couldn't, it needed the OpenAI key, but it didn't use OpenAI? Kind of weird. Let me go ahead and add an OpenAI key, all right? Give me a second. Let me go ahead. Let me add an OpenAI key in there. Go here, do that. All right, let's go back over here. All right, so let's go back over here. Let me try that again. Let me see what happens. All right, it's added in there. Hopefully not having that OpenAI key didn't cause any catastrophic issues, but we'll see. We shall see. All right. So that one is done. CV docs added to Chroma, so that's good. Nothing really to that. I don't know how it's gonna come out on the other side, but let's work on our RAG query now. So we need to do. Let's go to. That's interesting that data set was like 79 megs. That's pretty big. But I mean, I guess if it's vectorizing all the data in there, that makes sense. All right. So now that we are working on our RAG query, let's go look at it real quick. So we're gonna have our OpenAI API key, or OpenAI.API key, and we're gonna assign it the API key. We're going to open the scan input JSON. And all right, so let's do that. Let's do it. So for our RAG query, we're going to say import JSON. We're going to say import OpenAI, import Chroma DB, import, or from Chroma DB dot utils import embedding functions, And now we're going to say open AI.API key equals, got to get the .env in here as well. Let's get all this stuff in here. Import, let's see, import .env, import OS. Let's see here. Let's do that. Okay, so this should be good. Well, all right, let's do it like that. Well, you can just go here. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, cool. We're good to go. All right, so we got everything running over here. Now we're gonna say step 1 is load scan results, and we will say with open scan input .json. Let's go as f, and we say scan equals json.load f, because it's a local file. If it was a remote file, then you'd say loads and where that file is located. Now we're gonna say step 2. Search Chroma. Oops. Search Chroma for matches. Client equals Chroma DB dot client. And collection again is going to be client dot get or create. Okay, so get or create collection, because we already have the collection created. So it's going to be getting the collection now, vuln docs, right? And open AI dot embed equals embedding functions dot open AI embedding function, and we're going to say API key equals, and my open AI key is going to be os.getEnv open AI API key, right? Now we're going to be putting in the relevant documents, right? We're going to say relevant docs equals, so we're setting the relevant docs to a empty array or list, because we haven't searched anything yet, but we want to, whatever we find, want to add it to the relevant docs, and then you're going to print out the relevant docs, right? So we're going to say for entry in scan ports, and we're going to say service equals entry service. And let me scroll down over here, and we're going to say version equals entry version. Results equals collection dot query, and query, why is that not working? Collections, okay. Well, wait, did I? All right, let me update this to collection, because it's only one collection. Collection dot query. So now we're going to be querying the collection is when you get the collection for vulnerability docs, vuln docs, that's what collection is. So now we're saying we're going to query this collection. We say query text, and we're going to say for f string, and we're going to say service space version, and results is 3, What is that? Oh, I gotta see what does that mean for the for embedding query embeddings. See, I don't see that because in here they say, so I'm looking at this over here, right? Embedding function, right? But I don't have that. Maybe it got deprecated because maybe this is just outdated information. I would say, let me see. Let's do a search real quick. We're doing 2 searches. Embedding function, Chroma DB collection, Python parameter, no longer there. There, no longer. It appears you're encountering an issue where embedding functions parameter in Chroma DB. This parameter is indeed crucial for specifying how to your text. All right, let me see. I'm looking at this. When I go to do the collection query, when I query the collection with Chroma DB, I don't have the embedding function parameter. I mean, it could just be deprecated. In Chroma DB, when you query a collection using query text, you don't need to explicitly. Oh, okay, so you don't need to provide that anymore. Gotcha. All right, so I guess so maybe they just removed it altogether. All right, let's take that out. Whatever. All right, so let's go back over here and let's continue. All right, so let's go back over here. Let's say for doc meta in zip, we're say results documents 0 results. So we're saying look through documents, look through metadatas, and colon relevant docs dot append. So now this relevant docs is, if you remember from up here, this empty list, this empty array, whatever it finds, we're going to be adding it, we're going to be appending it to that empty array, right? So whatever it finds, it's going to add it to it. So we're going to say, and it's going to do it doc, and then the information from the document, and comma, and the metadata that was found, meta. So doc and data, right? And now if we look back at here at the load docs, you will see where. So I guess we don't need this one anyways. You will see where we're adding the documents with the document summary, and we're adding the metadata with all of this information related to it. So now in the query, it is saying look through the Chroma DB and look for all of this stuff over here, right? So, all right, let's continue. Now is where we reach out to our prompt for ChatGPT. So step 3. Step 3 is we're going to say generate analysis with OpenAI. Prompt equals f-string, and we're going to say you're a top level expert cybersecurity analyst and ethical hacker who has taken down a major Chinese and Russian hackers based on the following. Wavener taught me that, by the way. Make your chatbot super smart based on the following scan data. and retrieved vulnerabilities. I spelled retrieve wrong. Vulnerability info. Generate a, generate a professional report with a summary of vulnerabilities how each might be exploited, recommended mitigations. Let's see. Scan data. JSON.dumps scan indent equals 2. Relevant CVE info. CVEs are like the known bugs and stuff like that. JSON dumps relevant docs indent equals 2. And that would do it. And then we're going to, I'm going to say, please explain, please write it in a way, please write the report in a way that is going to easily break it down to the reader as if they were an 8th grader when it comes to cyber threats. Also, make it sound very scary so that we can maximize our earnings on this report. Look. I ain't doing this for free, all right?
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
I'm just saying.
Do not come.
I'm just saying, all right? All right. Now we are going to reach out to OpenAI. We're going to say response equals OpenAI dot chat completion dot create model equals GPT-4o mini. You trying to get all that? Getting all my money. Messages equals roll. Give me a second. Roll colon user comma content and prompt. All right. Next up, we're going to say print penetration testing report. And another dash here, and then print response dot. Now I wonder if it's going to return it in Markdown though. Choices 0 dot. I might have to. Well, no. I guess Markdown wouldn't matter too much because it's going to be printing it out in the console anyways. But we can always have it output to like a text file or something. Content. All right. Now, I do not have a scan output file. So I'm going to ask for a scan output file to ChatGPT so that we can actually do this. Let's go over here and let us say let's see, sample scan input, got that. Let's see, scan input, is it this one? Okay, so this, can I get a, let me see, that's the file, right? Scan input.json. Can I get a little more comprehensive scan input JSON file with maybe 10 entries? Let's see how that goes. All right, let's wait for it. You can do it. All right, there we go. Let me see.
Lunch break.
So let's finish this up and let's give this a try. We're going to say a new directory inputs. And we're going to call this new file scan input. Is it scan inputs or input? Scan input.json. We're going to drop the inputs in here like it's hot, right? And we're going to just say inputs scan inputs.json. All right, let's try to run this, see what happens. Let's try to run this to see what happens. Let's give it a whirl. So, something is happening in the background. It hasn't failed us yet. All right, let's see. You tried. All right, so so we use an older model. So OpenAI is giving outdated information on its own stuff, right? It's all right. Let me see. You tried to access is no longer supported. We should. All right, let me see. Let's go to. We should be using responses.create. All right, cool. Let's do that. Let's change that real quick. Where do I have it? Responses.create. And there we have the oh my goodness, the model. Instructions input. So let's change this to input, and we can just have that as the prompt, I guess. And the response is just going to be output text. Let's try that. Let's try that one before we get out of here. I mean, the portion above worked because we got all the way that far. All right. Current process got forked after parallelism already been used. I don't know what none of this stuff means. Hugging face tokenizers. Oh, wait. We got something. So I'm going to go, like I said, it's going to give it to us in Markdown. I'm just going to take all of this right here. So this is what got returned to us, right?
Real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
I'm going to copy this and I am going to go to Markdown viewer. I don't know. View Markdown. Oh, let me see what this is. I'm not going to use that. Let's go to here. And if I just paste that in here, bada bing, bada boom. We have successfully used our very first, we built our own RAG. We have data in there. So I think what we're going to do next week is connect it to the API to get updated real information, do a scan on our Metasploitable, generate a report in JSON format, and feed that into our project and see what happens there. All right. But look at that. Summary of vulnerabilities, open SSH on port 22, vulnerability, older version. This right here, look at that. Look at that. That is super duper cool. Super duper cool. Conclusion, act now. The clock is ticking. Your organization. Let me see. Making it easy to understand. Let's see if it made it easy to understand. All right. So we conducted a thorough scan of the target server with IP address 192.168.100 and found numerous critical vulnerabilities that could potentially be exploited by malicious hackers. This isn't just an average concern. These vulnerabilities can leave the door wide open for attackers to take complete control of sensitive data, disrupt critical operations, and even bring systems down. Below is a breakdown of main vulnerabilities by service. Let's see. Let's see. Conclusion, these statistics are alarming. Hackers are always on the prowl for vulnerabilities like the ones listed above. Each exploitable weakness poses substantial risk that can lead to data breaches, financial loss, and reputational damage. Immediate corrective actions are essential to safeguard your digital assets. Ignoring these vulnerabilities is akin to leaving your front door wide open. Anyone could walk right in. Act now. The clock is ticking. Super duper cool. Super duper cool. I'm excited. I am excited. All right. So that's it for tonight. That is it. I do have one more article that I wanted to read. It's about a lawsuit. It is about a lawsuit, right? It's about a lawsuit. So let's read that real quick. Then I'll check the chat. Then we'll wrap up the show. All right. So let's go over to. Why are you in my face? All right. So oh my goodness, what is this? What is this? This is annoying. I don't know. Hold on, let me find another article because Axios is giving me a stupid pop-up. Disney. Let me see if I can find this article somewhere. All right, let's see. There we go. Boom. There we go. We'll use CNBC. All right. So let's go over to, let's do this real quick. We are going to put 5 minutes on the timer, on the clock for this article where Disney and NBC Universal, they are suing Midjourney. I use Midjourney just about every single day, so I have to see what this is talking about, right? So let's go over to this article real quick, put 5 minutes on the clock, then we'll get out of here. Disney and Universal, NBC Universal, sue AI image company Midjourney for unlicensed use of Star Wars, The Simpsons, and more. That's gonna be pretty interesting. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Disney and Universal, NBC Universal are suing artificial intelligence image creator Midjourney, alleging copyright infringement. The lawsuit claimed that the company used and distributed AI-generated characters from the movie studios like Star Wars and Simpsons and other films. I want to see some of these pictures. This is the first such lawsuit from Hollywood giants. Let's see. So, Disney and Universal joined forces in a lawsuit against artificial intelligence image creator Midjourney, alleging copyright infringement. It's the first one. The lawsuit claims the company used and distributed AI-generated images from movie studios like Star Wars, Simpsons, and other films, and alleges Midjourney disregarded requests to stop. The The studio included numerous examples in the suite of AI generated images of characters from Cars, Toy Story, Shrek, The Avengers, and minions from Despicable Me. Disney and Universal are demanding a jury trial, arguing that the actions threatened to upend the bedrock incentives for U.S. copyright law. Midjourney is a quintessential copyright-free writer and a bottomless pit of plagiarism. Oh my God, that's rude. How rude! You guys remember Full House? How rude! The movie studio said, calling the actions calculated and willful. Both companies said they sent letters to Midjourney's counsel to prevent further copyright infringement, but the company continues to release new iterations of its image generator. Is it new iterations of the images that infringe on the copyright of Disney and Universal, or that they just kept living, right? So, says Midjourney, which has attracted millions of subscribers and made $300 million last year alone, is focused on its own bottom line and ignored plaintiffs' demand. CNBC has reached out to Midjourney for comment on the case. The rise of AI has raised the stakes in the media industry and sparked concerns over how to protect content from illegal copywriting. This one is the most significant copyright legal battle to date involving AI. Creativity is the cornerstone of our business, Kimberly Harris, Executive Vice President and General Counsel for NBC Universal. In a statement, we are bringing this action today to protect the hard work of all the artists whose work entertains and inspires us and the significant investment we make in our content. Midjourney told Disney that it was reviewing the letter but never responded, according to the suit. Universal said Midjourney did not respond to its letter. We're bullish on the promise of AI technology and optimistic about how it can be used responsibly as a tool to further human creativity, said Horacio Gutierrez, Senior Executive Vice President and Chief Legal Counsel and Compliance Officer at the Walt Disney Company in a statement. But piracy is piracy, and the fact I'm the captain now, and the fact that it's done by an AI company does not make it any less infringing. The lawsuit was filed in the United States District Court, Central District of not California. Is that it? All right. I want to see the pictures that they're saying. All right, let's go to Midjourney generated Disney characters. Let's see. From NPR. Midjourney content. That is kind of infringing, I must say. That is kind of infringing. Let's see. I'm gonna try to generate a Midjourney image of a Disney character and see how it goes, or if they prevent it. I don't know. We shall see. Anyways, that's it for tonight. That is it for tonight. I'm really curious to see how this goes. Right? If it was me, I would say you can't. Yeah, you can't use. You can create similar.
Back to work. Chop chop. Let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
You can use similar, but you can't use the same exact replica, right? I don't know. Anyways, that's it. That is it for tonight. Let me see anything else that we have before we wrap it up. Wave Nerd said, make that money bags, yo.
Money.
I hear that. But that's it. That's all that we got for tonight. Remember, tomorrow we're going to be premiering The Bug Bite. We're going to be talking about how a tone deaf software company, how they are laying off employees to hire AI. That's where we're at. That is where we are at. We're going to be reviewing that tomorrow, noon Eastern time. we're going to be, and then Sunday, we're going to be going live with our DevOps work, all of that good stuff, right? But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much. I am so happy to be back with you guys. Running it up every single day. You know how we do. You know how we do. But that's it. I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. A wonderful, wonderful Friday. Let's head into the weekend. Let's finish off strong. Enjoy. Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
Where is my money? Tell me where. You wanna chit chat, but I don't care. Can't be playing with my cash, no way. This disrespect can't be the play. Why you playing games with my cash? Owe me big, but you're acting rash. Said you pay me back today. Hey, now you're silent like it's all okay. Cash rules everything around me. Everything. Pay me what you owe, don't flee. Pay me. Dusty promises don't sue. No dusty promises. Gotta get straight to the loot. See you styling in your new threads. Spending freely while my wallet's dead. You think I won't come for my green, but I'm not backing down from this scene. Where's my money? You promised me. Where's my money? Quit the chatter and just agree. Where's my money? Your lies ain't funny, it's getting old. Pay me now before I get bold. Where's my money? Dusty excuses won't get you far. Up in the club, buying out the bar. Time to face up, you owe a debt. Avoiding me won't let you forget. Ducking calls like a ghost in the night. Running scared, but I'm ready to fight. No more stalling, it's time to pay. Running out on me is not okay. Where's my money? You promised me. Where's my money? Quit the chatter and just agree. Where's my money? Your lies ain't funny, it's getting old. Pay me now before I get bold. Where's my money? Cash rules everything around me. Everything. Pay me what you owe.